Bob here, Chopper Bob Customs, and I'm back at work on the 39 Ford Carson top creation. I went ahead and made some channels made 4 of these 19 inches long. I figure you guys have seen me cut with a cut-off wheel on an angle grinder, and you've seen me use the swag off-road finger brake that I've got to make these pieces. So I've made 4 of them, 19 inches long. Those are to replace these scabbed together channels that were on the car when it came in. And they're not an exact reproduction, but when I get done welding them together, they're going to be really solid. I do have to weld them together because, as you can see here, on the other side of the car, they're not quite long enough to do the entire straight section of the window. What I've done here is I've taken the window weather stripping that we got and cut a couple pieces off and put a couple pieces of 16th inch glass setting tape between it and the window frame, so that it was raised up and has some clearance between the window frame and the window frame and the weather stripping when it's going to be attached to the channel, so the door will shut with the windows on it, but it'll still seal on the inner lip that's on here. I've also marked where the straight section of the window stops and the curve begins. And that's going to be how long the straight section is going to be, and then I'm going to have to make the curve pieces to go around the curve of the glass. So what I've done already, and let me zoom out here a little bit, is I've gone ahead and I've created the left side piece. There you can see the curve part of the back of the glass. I've created the straight section here, and I fit that side to the header. And now I'm going to see if this side over here is going to be the same, and then I'll go ahead and continue fabricating. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put this piece of channel up here. Let me zoom in a little tighter. And I'm going to mark it where it intersects the header to make the cuts that are needed. And if it looks like it's a good match to the other side, then I'll know I can go ahead. And I've also come up with what I believe to be a cure for this gap that is over here on the cast iron or forged piece to the wooden header. And I'll go through that in a little bit on how I plan on fixing that. So for right now, I'm going to break away, put my marks on this channel piece, and when I come back, I'll go ahead and show you where the cuts are, and then talk about how I'm going to go ahead and extend the back. Okay, so here's the inside part of it, and you can see where the line is a little bit off, but that's probably due to the fact that the wood is, well, to start with, not correct side to side, and then all the years of damage and so forth that's occurred to it has created issues. On the other side, you can see where that difference comes into play in the angle that the wood header is compared to the window. I basically have the windows rolled up the same amount front and rear, but you can see here that this is a lot shallower angle, comes back a lot further than the left front. So, but all things being equal, I'm going to say that this is probably very, very close to being correct. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this one up now. And here again, I'm not going to run the tape while I'm using a angle grinder with the cutoff wheel, just because it's just a bunch of noise and sparks, and you guys have seen all that so far on this project. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and do some final fitting on these 2 pieces, and then I'll be ready to extend them out to the end of the tangent, cut a piece off for each of them, weld them together, and I'll have the top piece ready to go. I've got it cut to length, and I've got it clamped to this piece of angle iron so that it stays straight, particularly on the bottom side. I want it to be as straight and flat as possible. I went ahead and put a double bevel in it so that I get good penetration. And what I'll do right now is I'm going to put 6 tacks in, 2 on each side and 2 on the bottom. I don't want to go ahead and completely weld it since I have the double bevel in there. I don't want to end up with it welded to the angle iron, which I've done before. So let's see if I can't get situated in a manner that will allow me to get a good position on this. All right. Okay, if I didn't weld it to the angle iron, I should be in good shape. Got 6 nice tacks in there. The only thing holding it together is the ground clamp. Okay, there we go. All I gotta do is weld it. Good penetration. This is going to be a good solid piece. I'll be back after I clean my tungsten. Okay, let's see if I can't work my way around this corner without sticking it again. Okay. It's nice and flat. Got good penetration all the way around. All I have to do is clean it up and it should be good to go. One down, one to go. I've decided I'm going to try building a metal piece. Since I was able to weld to this original part here, I'm going to go ahead and lay this out, cut it out, and then probably do a masking tape pattern. But I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. I'm going to go ahead and mark it where it needs to be cut and saw it out on the bandsaw, and then see if I can't build this up so that I have a good reinforcement in this area right here. And then that's also going to allow me to tie in well with this channel that now extends back to the curve. And so we'll go from there, and I'm going to go ahead and do this first. Ended up using the grinder and the cutoff wheel to make it. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and lay out a piece of masking tape. See if I can't get it to follow the contours. And then I'm going to, got a razor blade, and I'm going to see if I can't do some trimming here. Make this follow the contours. And we'll cut it out. Now, I don't necessarily like the fact that this is going to be so thin. If it weren't for the fact that I was working with ready-made parts, I would probably go ahead and open this opening up so that I could get a rectangular or a round shape to do this. But when you're working with stuff that's already made, you're kind of at the mercy of what Detroit did and what you can do with it. And of course, here again, this is probably not the correct parts, but anyway, I'll transfer that to a piece of steel and we'll get it cut out and see about tacking it in there and getting this welded up to fill in this hole right here and give this some reinforcement. So when I put the screw in here, it will go ahead and tighten up against that and smash up against the wood. Okay, I've got the piece cut out. I've decided to go ahead and put the tacks in with the MIG. I'm not 100% certain when I get it over to the bench whether I'll finish it up with the MIG or go with the TIG. But for right now, I figured the best way to handle this was to MIG it into place. I'll put some healthy tacks in there. Try not to catch the wood on fire. Hopefully I've got the car protected good enough that I don't have to worry about it. Let's see how it goes. Okay, when we get that over to the bench and get that finished up, I think that'll be good. Yeah, I think I got that just about in the right spot. So I'll have to go ahead and fill that gap in. I'll probably go ahead and tack that, and I'll have to get a little bit of, and probably what I'll end up doing is I'll probably end up running weld, bridging the gap with weld. I hate to do that, but this is all going to be custom fit anyway. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and finish this piece on the other side, and then I'm going to go ahead and see if I can't get this tied together. I've got this trimmed up and located to where it needs to be, so now I'm going to put some welds in here and back in here, see if I can't make it rigid enough so if I take it off the car I can finish welding it over at the bench. We'll see how this works. I guess if nothing else, it makes pretty good fire. Let's see if I can get in there and get one in there to locate it. It's got me sitting pretty rigid. I think I'll be able to take it over to the bench and finish welding it. All right. Take it apart. The side channel was pretty rigid to the locking mechanism. Obviously, it's not super robust, but I was able to get it off the car, and it doesn't really try and flop around. It's maintains its orientation very well. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start putting some tabs in to lock it into place really good and solid. And I thought I'd give it a try with the TIG to see how that material works, TIG welding it. I know the sheet to sheet weld will go pretty well, so I'll go ahead and knock that in real quick. The idea is that the TIG welding is a lot less, what shall I say, crude looking. Even when I do it. So let's give it a little bit of a shot here and see how well it does. Yeah, I think I'm going to probably have to go to MIG. It's one of the things I've noticed about TIG welding is that it seems to have made me a better MIG welder. Not that I'm that great, but I've noticed that I've seemed to have improved. So let's go ahead and try and MIG this and see how it goes. Part of the deal here is I've got a pretty good gap, and oh yeah, that's much better. Okay, put a little bit back in that corner, lock that in. Get that to do this. Oh yeah. Okay. Right now, I think I'm really good and solid. I'm probably going to put one more reinforcement back in here, but I kind of want to get this closed up, get it all done on this side, so then I can go on the other side and get it wrapped up. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, that looks a lot nicer. Yeah, I just jinxed it probably. Let's see, I need to clean this up a little bit. That is one of the things about MIG is you don't have to be as concerned about it being clean with MIG. At least not for this type of stuff. Obviously if you were doing code work or something like that, it needs to be clean, but you can get away with a lot more with MIG than you can with TIG on stuff that's not critical fabrication. Yeah, that looks really good. I like that. Let's see if I can get this turned around and get the other, see if the other side will TIG fairly decently. Okay, let's see if I can get a good weld here. Oh yeah, that's... Yep, that's good. Let's see if I can wrap it up here. Oh yeah, that's looking really good. I like it. Okay, so now we've got that corner filled in, good and solid. I'll have to drill the holes for the screws, and I think I'm going to want to put one brace, and I can't decide whether I want to go from here to here or from this one to this one. I'm going to shut it off and see what I can come up with on cleaning it up with the grinder and coming up with a piece to weld in there to give that corner a good solid bite. But on the whole, it's really coming out very nice and strong. So the other side should go quicker, I hope. And we'll go from there. All right, so I cut out a nice little gusset there. I'm gonna go ahead and get it tacked in, and then see if I can't put a decent looking weld around it. And then this corner will be finished except for drilling the holes. And I may go break for lunch before I finish drilling the holes. Let's see how this goes. Part of the problem with TIG in that might be the fact that it's just too thick and takes up too much heat. We'll see. I'm gonna see how this goes. I may have to come in and maybe this when it's all said and done. Yeah, I think I'm gonna MIG that. Oh, shoot. Yes, I'm definitely gonna make that. Let me see if I can't fill this crater before I go to the other side. Okay, let's get the MIG set up. I think maybe the time has come to put in a second circuit for 2 welders. So I don't have to keep switching back and forth. I can just go from one machine to the other without having to turn off the power and disconnect the one, connect it to the other one, and then turn the power back on. Have both machines lit, ready to go. Alright, let's see if I can do this and make it almost fit like. Yeah, I think that might actually look better. Okay. Okay, so I went ahead and did some welding off screen. It's the same welding of getting this fitted up in here and getting this attached to this solidly. So it's basically both sides have been run back to where the curve starts on the glass. And I mean, there's some trimming I've got to do on bolts and that sort of stuff. And of course it'll need to be painted to keep it from rusting. But that'll happen on down the road when we're done. So the next step will be to cut this channel on the back side of the glass right here. I don't know whether you can see it or not. Yeah, I think you can see it right there. And then figure out how this, the stock top bow, is going to attach to it. So we're getting really close. So keep watching us. If you got any comments, got any questions, be sure and get in touch with me. Put them in the comments section. I get back to comments as fast as I can. But please subscribe. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, because there's going to be a lot of interesting stuff besides this right here. I've got an Ackerman video that I'm going to be doing sometime soon. And then I've got, I'm probably going to have some floor pans that I'm going to be shooting videos on, show you how to install floor pans, how I install floor pans. And I'm also going to be, hopefully, if the car is worthy of doing it, I'm going to be doing a chop later this year. So stay tuned. Please subscribe. Like I said, make any comments. I like the likes, so give me the likes. But with that, I'm done for today. So Chopper Bob out.